So I took a call from a lady on the radio show, Victoria, and Victoria is really looking to do something special with her backyard. She wanted some unique accents and stuff that not everybody can do. So I've got David, who is just a concrete connoisseur. I mean, he knows his concrete, coming out, and we're going to take a look at what we can do with her backyard today on Texas Home Improvement.
Smile. You woke up in Texas.
I'm Jim Dutton, and I've been a contractor here in the great state of Texas for over 40 years.
It ain't a good day till we tear something up. Tools make the job.
To help as many people as I possibly could, I started a radio show over 20 years ago. Now to help even more people, I'm rolling up my sleeves and hitting the road.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, look how beautiful it is.
In Texas, most contractors don't have to have a license, so it's buyer beware.
And that's what you get when you hire a bootleg contractor.
You don't know what you're talking about. I've been building homes for over...
Yeah, and I've been fixing homes for over 40 years because of people like you. It doesn't work in Texas. This is Texas Home Improvement.
Hey, David, good to see you.
Tim, good to see you.
Have a seat, David.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about your background. I mean, how'd you get into this?
Well, Jim, I've been doing landscaping and hardscaping and that type of thing for years. My dad used to go in the mountains up in Cuba, New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico area. There's a ranch we had up there, and he used to come in and bring trees. We'd ball and burn that and bring them in. And he started the landscaping business doing that. So we used to go out and get the rocks and make rock walls, just a rock at a time with the
mud,
with the mescla, and
Yep.
put it in there, a rock at a time. We built the whole wall, and it would take us a long time. So my dad came up with an idea and said, what if we've got concrete, put it against the wall, kind of an erosion control type of thing, and we kind of carved some rocks out of that, and I thought, cha-ching, this is it. This is it, we could do this. And of course, this was back in the early 90s, and we started doing that. And we go back and look at some of the walls we did with that, and I'm like, a little scary, because not, nothing compared to what it is now, but we've taken and developed it little by little. And I think the thing all along was to try to produce a wall that was, was vertical. When I moved from New Mexico to New Hampshire, we started developing a wall, because everybody did the beautiful granite walls, and I'm like, I gotta compete with that. So, what we did is, with the concrete, I was trying to get it to stand, up.
Right.
Tried to get concrete without a form. It was just the thing. Everybody thought, well, you gotta use a form. But if you use the form, it gets set up.
You ever heard about peeing up a rope? That's kind of the same thing you're trying to do.
That's exactly what I did. So I went to engineers and I went to chemists, and they said, well, you can make it set up with accelerators, or you can retard it, but you can't do both.
Right.
Met with a chemist down in Kentucky, and he helped me develop a product that was hydroscopic. He said, this is what you should do. And he showed that, and we started using it, and man, it worked like a dream. And ever since then, we have kind of a proprietary product we call Wall Builder. Put it in it, so it draws the water from the atmosphere into the concrete. And so now you're curing on a slower base, and it's drawing water all the time. So it's phenomenal. So now you get a stronger concrete, but now I got concrete that can stand up, stack, and trowel it all off like I would do a patio or a hat, and then carve into it. And then of course we stained it. The goal was to constantly make it look like a real rock wall.
And with doing all that, I mean, obviously your techniques have probably changed some over the years.
Correct.
And probably even some of the tools.
As I was building, I like building waterfalls when we used to do it with real rocks. The real rocks, so you can never kind of seal up real good. You know what I mean? It's always leaking, and the liners and all the business. I went and studied with a company that did cladding, where they would spray the concrete on there. And I thought, I'm gonna go. So I kind of went to work for them almost a year. My wife was like, "What do you work for free?" And I said, "Because I'm trying to learn. That's how you get knowledge." So I went in there off and on helping them out, and I learned how to do the GFR. Well, they had the big old cutters and the big machines. They did a face coat and I was doing it out of rock, rubber molds.
Right.
You'd get a mold of a rock feature, you'd put it in there, you release it, and then you put the spray coat, and you put it. But they were huge and heavy, and it would take 2 weeks to cure. And I thought, what if you had all of it in one bag? You don't have to buy a $50,000, $60,000 apparatus to spray it and cut the fibers and all that stuff like that. So we developed the GFRC bag mix with the polymer, and we put the polymer liquid. That was our first generation, one. Then we went to 2, 3, and now we have an incredible product now that we're going to make an outdoor kitchen. It's so strong, take a sledge to it, couldn't break it. We're going to make a waterfall, and the rock will look so real. Now we like realism. So when you look at it, you'll see, the real rock, everything, and the speed to which it goes up is just phenomenal.
Well, and that's what I keep hearing is how fast this is. I mean, time is money. I mean, it's to be able to come in and build something quickly, especially in this part of the country where we never know when it's going to rain again.
Correct.
That can be tough.
Well, I think the biggest thing about concrete that I've learned is where you did landscape, you did a rock at a time, the guys would kind of go, okay, we got this rock, we do this, and they just did their own pace.
Right.
When the concrete comes, it tells you what to do.
Yeah,
it
get
says,
it done.
you'll finish me, and you'll finish me now, and if you don't, I'm going to stay like I am.
Yep.
And it's just, and it's going to look like it is. So, you know, we have to be very efficient and very, you know, yes, do it fast, but do it beautifully, and I have to add everything. So there's a lot to it. And so that's what I like about the concrete. You say, oh, you did it. How can you do it in one day, or how can you do it in 2 days? Well, concrete comes. It has to be done in one day. We don't get the concrete and go, we'll finish it tomorrow. It's right there. You got to have it finished.
So how fast after you've set the concrete are you able to start carving it?
Well, once it goes down, we stack it up. Probably within the minute it's all troweled up, and then within 30 to 40 minutes, we start carving it. And sometimes when you get a harder, if it goes 90 degrees or 100 degrees, something like that, and you have some high humidity, you carve it right away. And it usually almost stacks, very quickly.
So what do you do when it's 105 here in Texas?
We use a retarder in it.
Okay.
To help out, but the wall builder goes in, it kind of sets it down a little bit too.
So what do you got in mind for Victoria here?
Well, there's a lot of things you guys talked about and what y'all wanted to do. I think the best way to do is probably to just show you my ideas through a rendition. Not a bird's eye view, but an actual drawing. So why don't I draw a quick sketch, and kind of a rendition of what we're going to do. I think that'll work the best. Fair enough?
Sounds good.
All right,
Let's
yeah,
take a
we'll
look.
do that.
That looks like a pretty extensive drawing. I mean, I thought we were talking something a couple days. I'm looking 2, 3, 4 weeks here. What are we looking at?
Well, it has a lot of elements, but I'm thinking 2 to 3 days, not 2 to 3 weeks.
How?
Well, it's the concrete. It tells us to do it. It says you will finish this. Remember we talked about that? So that's what's going to happen. It's a challenge. My guys are up to the challenge, but I think we got this.
Okay. I'm going to be watching. We'll see. And when we come back, we're going to let David show you how he gets this job done in 2 or 3 days.
What we're doing is taking out this old retainer wall, which was failing, and replacing it. It's about just under 4 feet, and we're taking this all the way around this other side here. Usually if you go over a certain amount, and you're doing not a replacement, but a regular wall, a lot of times you need engineering, stuff like that. Here we're not going as tall, and so we're taking out this stuff. We're going to get rid of these ties here. Concrete will be here to 12, but I think we'll be fine. It looks good. We're going to take this right up in here. We're going to have concrete stacked against here. Then we're going to carve it to look like rock. And so as much as people think it's a challenge to do that, how do you get it from slumping? We have a technique and a way to do it. We have a chemical. So we're on for the challenge. All right, so JD, fire pit, bench over here. You guys are going to be digging this out for the pond, and then we got our stone and everything. What's up?
Got a question.
What's up?
How are we getting concrete back here?
Well, we're going to pump it, but you know what? I don't know. There's a situation, because if that pumper can't get that grout mix 200 feet back here, because that's what's going. It's almost 200 feet from over here. I need a backup.
What size hose is it?
Oh, he's got 4-inch hose.
Oh, okay. About to say 2 inch.
Yeah, no, 4-inch hose is going to work, but we got to have, So why don't you call and back us up with a couple of track buggies. So if anything happens, the track buggies, we can bring it back here. Even if it takes a little longer, I got my mud where I need it. Otherwise, we're really in a bad boat. All right?
Okay, you
All right,
got it.
cool,
I'll
cool,
call
man.
Larry.
All right, let's get that going. Finish digging this out, and then I'll come back over here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the dilemma is, how do you get concrete to a backyard? And that's always the case. I mean, we have a truck that could come up, but you have established neighborhoods like this, you can't tear the house apart. You got to bring it back here some. So a lot of times we use a pumper. The problem with the pumper is that a lot of times they want a wet mix. Well, I can't do much with a wet mix. But when I'm trying to sculpt concrete that's raised up, I want to make sure I have more of a drier mix. And it's hard for them to pump a drier mix. So what we do is put a little stone in it. Every situation is different with what we do, but I think we got it covered. So we got 2 buggies, they have tracks on them, so that way they can come down here just in case the guy says, you know what, we can't get that stuff is just plugging up. We cannot do it with the pumper. We have a backup. All right, well, so here we are at where we're digging out the pond. Nate's about to dig out the pond here with this mini. You know, the only thing we can get through that little fence over there, because there's no way here and there's no way on that side. Tore down a little of the fence, but we got it. So what we're doing is we're going to tear out. One thing about a pond is we want to make sure that the pond it's got to go level. So as this slopes down, this will all stay level inside. Our pump will come at the outside, which is over here. We'll make a little pump house for it in the concrete. All this will be poured in here. We have rebar and a real high strength concrete. You got about almost a 5,000 PSI concrete. It's going to come in here, come around here. We're going to make rocks on the outside. And of course we got a bridge going there. So you guys got to make a bridge for them in the morning. You guys will see that. On this side over here, we're going to put a fire pit here. We're going to make it look like a tree stump, a bench around it. So now you have an environment. That's what we want to do, make this environment. Come across there. Yes, you got the pool, but now you got this fire going on. You got the water and then the waterfall. And that's what's really cool. We're going to bring the concrete up here, up high, and then we're going to have big rocks like up here, 6 foot, maybe another 7-footer here. And the rocks here, and the water will come in here, reservoir here, and spill into it, spill down, and we'll have lighting and everything. And we put the lights inside the rocks. You sit out in the back there, enjoying yourself. You got the outdoor kitchen over here. You got this, and all of a sudden, boom, it just comes to life. So we said 2 to 3 days. It's a challenge, but man, we're gonna do it. And you guys up for that? These guys have done it before. I think we can do it again. They brought the truck. It's wet. I can't deal with wet. And not only that, but it's not even a 2,000 PSI. I need like a 5,000 PSI. I need something with real strength. I need more bag mix. I need like a 9 to 10 sack mix. He's checking on it now and see if we can fix this. Might have to have another truck brought out, but either way, we won't pour this stuff until it's right. It's the sack mix we need, but it's just kind of wet. So we're gonna see what we can do to use that, even wet as it is. So we'll see. We're gonna take some out and look at it. It's gonna have to take a little setup. It's a high slump, but it'll set up.
All right. Well, David, looks like you're moving right along, but I see one big issue.
The elephant backed up over here, right? There we go. That's what we got. The biggest thing, they brought a slump that's really slump is the wet, wetness of the concrete, the viscosity. So you have to deal with it. Our wall builder helps. We put it in there. It's a hydroscopic product, like I was telling you. So it's going to make it set up a little bit better. It's also going to bring this around here. Now my wall's coming around here. Yeah. And around here like this. This wall comes back this way. So it's back out here. It's going to be, this wall's going to be like this into here like that. And then our fire pit will be in the middle. It don't look like a fire pit, but honestly, it's going to be a fire pit and all this. We're going to tighten this wall into a boulder here, the rest of the pond there, and then this pond will go around like that over there. Of course, these panels here, you see behind us, which we call potato chips, these right here are solid concrete. We replicate rock is what we're doing. Sure. That's what it is. It's a replication of rock. When we go into pouring this, we'll get that effect, and then we mud it all together. You'll see that. That's tomorrow.
Here's where you're putting your little pond.
Pond in there. We get the pipes going to sit in there. Come and return up to the top.
The outdoor kitchen
The outdoor
area?
kitchen, they did the pop. I tell you what, let's go pop those tops while we're waiting.
Okay.
And we'll see what they look like.
This will be the countertops.
The countertops, which I call them kind of marble, even though it's concrete, but we have the marble effect we put on there.
Right.
For while that concrete setting, we thought we'd come and pop these. Generally, even in a 60, 70 degree weather, you can pop them in, I'm gonna say about an hour.
Okay.
It's been 2 hours.
2 hours.
So let's pop it and see what it looks like. One thing about it is you have that dry marker board that you put on there, so when it comes off of it, it's like glass.
Yeah, I've been waiting for you to do this part because I watched them as they set it up. And
yeah, and you're like, what did you do? It's like the mess over there. You can see what we do with that. But
yeah.
Let's go ahead and pop this. So this will go on one of the tops, the bar.
Right.
And then the kitchen goes in there, and then the other bar comes in. So we got one more to pour there, pop there.
All right. Well, the countertops look great. I still ain't believe you even have all that done today.
Oh, you have little faith, right? We'll get it. All right. Let's pop this other one here, and we'll get out of here. Well, right now, we're right in the middle of kind of finishing up the details of the carving. And the carving, of course, later on when it dries, has to be stained and everything. But right now, the raw concrete is what we're manipulating, and really kind of, it's like getting a clay piece and just making it into something really nice. As we drew on the drawing, we had the fire pit and bench. We changed it out from the bridge over here to actually, I wanted more of a sitting area over here, and that way you could sit there and also sit around the water, which is another environment thing here. So anyway, the waterfall is going to come into that, fall right in the middle, big giant boulders on both sides, and kind of cove in real nice and real good sound. It's going to get that bass sound coming out of it. But look how they're carving. Look at the fire pit. Isn't this cool? Looks like a tree stump, but look, look how they carved out the bark there. That was something Skip did over here. We're going to carve like a capstone in there like we've done over here. See, look how cool this looks. So we carved the capstone in there, and we carved the rock out of there, and it looks like you made a rock wall and then added a capstone. But what we're doing is we're just carving it out of the rock itself. When it's all done and colored, it will look spectacular. What an environment and transformation other than just a grass area. This gives you a living area. You know, sit there with the fire pit, you know, put the fire and everything like that, and we'll have this all done. By tomorrow night, we should have the water running and the color on it and everything, and everybody's sitting around here with the barbecue all set. We've got the island we're putting in together, so a lot to do tonight. Concrete's not gotten here till, it didn't get here till, well, just now. It's 2:30, and there's 2 trucks. That's 20 yards of decorative stuff we got to do. So we got to do the pad we're going to finish. We're going to do steps without forms, and we're going to do this wall all the way around there. Tomorrow, we might have another 7 yards left on the rest of that there, and we're out of here. So that's pretty much it with the concrete. The rest is coloring, finishing, and then you know, tightening it up. But tomorrow, hopefully, we'll get everything else done, like the waterfall in the morning, outdoor kitchen all finished, and then by the time that concrete comes in the afternoon, we'll have that done. Pretty much finished, 2 days. Not bad. Well, you know, the best laid plans don't always work, but you know, the concrete company gave us a really wet mix. We went ahead and put that in the back, and you see over there we did the patio, knocked that out. I can't use it for the wall. I wanted to do part of the wall, get that out of the way, right? In one day, all of this and part of the wall, but it's a material problem. Not that we can't do it, but it's a material problem. So what we're doing right now is we're going to throw the other flat work on the other side down, no forms, just up to where we're at. We'll bring the rocks to it decoratively. And tomorrow when I get the drier concrete, then I'll finish up the wall and this little wall here and the steps without forms, and we'll be done with this project. Well, you know, when you run into a material issue where they bring the wrong stuff, they had 2 trucks here. We sent the other one back. We just said, that's, you know, we're not paying for that. And really, when you have that happen, you kind of got to make do. Like, you know, I couldn't use this on the wall, but I could use it on the flat work, so they finished the flat work. So the guys are really good at making use of you know, a situation that kind of is not perfect. And so now, when you have a drier mix, you can do what you have to do. It's not always that way. So, but look what we did, even with the stuff that was not as wet, but a little drier. And in no time, look what we had here. The bench, fire pit. It's really nice. Good job. I'm excited. I'm pleased with what they did today. Think about it, trying to do this much work in that much time.
Next week on an all-new Texas Home Improvement. Hey, got a question during the week? Go to our website, thipro.com, and click on the Ask Jim button. If you're looking for a great contractor, one that'll treat you fair and get the job done right, go to thipro.com and take a look at the contractors in your area that I've already checked out. Now, don't forget to listen to Texas Home Improvement, your total home improvement source, every Saturday at 12 o'clock on WBAP, Sundays on KRLD. Don't forget to listen to Texas Home Improvement every Saturday and Sunday right here in Houston on News Talk 740 KTRH.
Don't forget to listen to Texas Home Improvement every Saturday right here in Austin on News Talk 1370 AM KJCE.
Where's your way out? Yeah.
Más nice.
Hey Ben, you got that tape?
Se mira más nice. It's much
got
better
that tape, man?
with the bumper than the stupid wheelbarrow like some máquina machines. All right, let's get it.
3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Yes. No, that there. Yeah.
Rolling. Yeah, absolutely.